Hello everyone. Today we discuss a new topic of a module number 2 masonry construction. The new topic name is a lintel and arc. So now we start this topic from the lintel. So first we discuss about what is lintel. So lintel is a defined as a horizontal structural member which is placed across the opening. So see in a figure we exactly seen uh, there are two types of the opening, door opening and window opening in a wall. And above door and window opening we provide a structural member above the opening is known as a lintel. So here in figure red color marking shown by the lintel. So here lintel beam is shown as the structural remain in is in a position by the resistance from the support. So here lintel are usually rectangular in a shape, the width of which is equal to the width of the wall and end of which are built into the wall. So see this figure. So here width of the lintel. So width of the lintel is exactly width of wall. So here and ends is which is built in a wall. So see this figure in a figure both the side of the end some of the extension is provided. So this extension is directly built into the wall, so for the gripping purpose. Now next is a classification of the lintel. So lintel are divided into six type of the classified. So first is a timber lintel, second is a stone lintel, third one is a brick lintel, fourth one is a reinforced brick lintel, fifth one is a steel lintel, and sixth one is a reinforced cement concrete lintel. So one by one we discuss about all the lintels based on material. So first is a timber lintel. So timber lintel is easily available in a hilly area and relatively costly, structurally weak, and well near by well nearable to the fire, and easily decay if not possible to taken the care. So here generally lintel is in a old time timber lintel is generally used, and is in a old time it's easily available, and in a nowadays timber rate is increased, but in a old time timber rate is very less. So at that time timber lintel is provided above the opening area. Now next type of the lintel is a stone lintel. So generally used where the stone are easily available. So what is easily available, like we take an example like in a Rajasthan area. So Rajasthan stone is easily available. So that type of the area we use the stone lintel in place of the wooden lintel or RCC lintel. So consist of a simple stone slab of a greater thickness are provided above the opening area as a lintel, and due to high cost and its inability to withstand the traverse stress load is it is not commonly in a use. Now next type of the lintel is a brick lintel. So the brick are hard, well burned, and first class brick is generally used in a brick lintel. So see this figure, brick lintel is provided above the opening area, and it is not suitable for the large span, it is generally suitable for the small span area, and the brick having the frog are more suitable. So here frog, why frog is required? So frog is required to join the or to bound the two bricks with each other. Now next type of the lintel is a reinforced brick lintel. So here in a brick lintel reinforcement is provided to support the brick. So here for a large span or a heavy load reinforced brick lintel is generally provided, and they are reinforced with a mild steel bar, and this mild steel bar is tied with each other and tied with a brick, and it is used as a reinforced brick lintel, and a very common due to the durability, strength, and fire resistance property, and joint are filled with a cement concrete. So this cement concrete is joint is filled, so we take a um, we got a reinforced brick lintel. Now next type of the lintel is a steel lintel. So provide a large opening area where the superimposed load are heavy. So here see this figure, rolled steel joist is seen and I section is seen. So it consists of a rolled steel joints and either used as slightly in a combination of the 2 or 3 units and joint with bolted. So here bolted connection is provided if we require to join the lintel. Now next type of the lintel is a reinforced cement concrete lintel. So RCC lintel is provided in a opening area. So it is generally common is used and they are made as a precast and cast in situ type. So in a precast we are casted this type of the lintel on a site or on a factory, and then after uh, we put in above the opening area. But see this figure, in this figure reinforced cement concrete lintel is provided as a cast in situ type. So here formwork is, first of all formwork is fixed above the opening area, and then after reinforcement is provided, and then after oiling work the formwork is filled with a cement concrete, and reinforcement gauge is provided in a lintel. So here depth of the lintel is depend on the span of the lintel. So here depth is and generally minimum thickness or a minimum depth of the lintel is provided is a 50 centimeter. So 15 centimeter is generally required depth. Now next is a construction of the lintel. So here there are four cases of the lintel. In case of the timber lintel, in case of the stone lintel, in case of the precast concrete lintel, and in case of the RCC lintel. So construction of the lintel, first we start in case of the timber lintel, wooden log is shown to be required size of the lintel along with the proper finishing, and then it is directly pressed over the opening area. So here uh, wooden log is cut, then after cut in a regular size or a required size, width, height and length we cut exactly, and then after finish it, after finishing we directly place over the opening area. So it's a easy, wooden lintel is a easy to construct. Now next type is a in case of the stone lintel. So stone piece having the required length is dressed to a required size and shape and then directly placed over the opening area. So here no any manufacturing unit is required, only simple dressing is required, and cutting is required. So after cutting and polishing we directly put on a opening area. Now third one is in case of the precast concrete lintel. So first of all the rectangular case of the steel reinforcement as per the design is prepared, and then formwork is made around the steel cage by keeping the proper cover all around, and then the concrete is required a proportion as per the grade and design poured in a formwork. Now after 24 hour formwork is removed and curing for the period of the 12 days. As per the standard curing, precast lintel should be done for a 28 days. After proper curing, precast concrete lintel is ready to place over the opening area. Now in case of the RCC lintel, so in this case the formwork as per the required size and shape and length according to design is installed or erected over the opening area, and then after formwork is reinforced by the steel as per the design, and with a proper cover all around the formwork, cast in situ work is done, and cement concrete is poured in a formwork, and then after we remove the formwork, and curing is required in a RCC lintel. Now next topic we start is a new topic is a arc. So arc is generally you seen in a some of the areas. So basic concept of the arc is a pure compression from and it can span a large area by resolving force into the compressive stress, and it turn eliminating tensile stress. This is sometimes referred to as a arch action, and as the force in the arc are carried to ground, the arc will push up outward at the base, called as a thrust. And as the rise or height of the arc raise, the outward thrust increases. Now, in order to maintain the arc action and prevent the arc from the collapsing, the to be restrained either with or external bracing, such as a thrust, need internal ties abutments. So here see this figure, arch is provided. So here some of the important points like keystone, uh, washers, then after extra doors, impost, intradoors, rise, clear span, and abatement is provided. So here above load of the arc is directly apply on a arc curve, and then after directly transfer on the uh, intradoors to extra doors, and then after directly provide in a abatement. Clear? Now next is some of the technical term used in arches. So first technical term is abutment. So this is the end support of the arc. So see this figure, pillar is provided in a arc or end support is provided in a arc, so it's called a abutment. Now next type of the uh, technical term is a pier. So this is the support and intermediate of the arc is called a pier. So here pier is a intermediate support in arc, and abutment is a end support of the arc. So it's a main difference of the abutment and pier. So see this figure. So in this figure, abutment is a last support, and pier is a intermediate support of the arc. Now next is a intrados. So this is the inner curvature of the curvature or surface of the arc is called a intrados. So inside portion, inner part of the curvature is called a intrados. Now next type of the technical term is a extrados. So this is the outer curvature of surface of the arc is called a extrados or a external dose. So extrados, yellow color shade show the extrados. So it's the outer part of the curvature. So it is directly connect with a brickwork or a stonework above the opening area. Now next type of the technical term is a washers. So the washers of the arc stone are the wedge shape unit forming of the arc is called as a washers. So see this figure. So here wedge shape stone is cut in a wedge shape and provided in a arc. Now next type of the next type of the technical term is a springing stone. So what is springing stone? The springing stone or a springers is the first washers at the springing level or either the side of the arc. So it's a starting and end, starting of the curvature or end of the arc. One stone is provided is known as a springing stone. Now next is a springing line. So springing line is a imaginary line joining the two springing points is known as a springing line. So starting and end point joined by the line, imaginary line, is known as a springing line. Now next is a crown. So see this figure on the top. This is the highest point of the extrados. It is the highest part of the arc is known as a crown. So this figure, in this figure crown is seen. So it's the highest part, topmost part of the extrados is known as a crown. Now next is a keystone. So keystone is the highest central wedge shape block of the arc is known as a keystone. So a keystone always provided in the center top is known as a keystone. Now next is a skewback. So skewback, this is the surface of the abutment on which the arc is raised. So all the loads are transferred on a skewback and from the skewback to wall. So here skewback is provided at the starting of the curvature or a arc. Now next is a span. Span is the clear horizontal distance between the two support is known as a span. So here two column or a wall is provided, two wall is provided, and between the corner to corner distance is known as a horizontal distance is known as a span. Now next is a rise. So this is the vertical distance between the two support is known as a rise. So rise is provided from the span to inner part of the arc is known as a rise. Then after haunch of the arc. So this is the portion of the arc situated centrally between the key and skewback is known as a haunch. Now next is a spandrel. So spandrel, this is the triangular walling enclosed by the extra doors of the arc, a horizontal line from the crown of the arc and a perpendicular line from the springing of the outer curve is known as a sprinklers. Now next is the depth of the arc. This is the perpendicular distance between the intradoors and extradoors is known as a depth of the arc. Now here types of the arc, there are the main four types of the arches are available. So first one is a brick arc, second one is a stone arc, third one is a flat arc, and fourth one is a semicircular arc. So here one by one we discuss. So we start from the brick arches. So brick arches is also divided into two part, rough brick arches and second one is a X brick arches. So first we start a rough brick arches. So see this figure. So these arches are built with an ordinary brick and which are not in a wedge shape. So here directly standard size of the brick is used, not a cutting or not a finishing, no any type of the extra work is required in this arc, and directly we put one above the another in the form the arch shape, and no here any type of the wedge shape is required in a brickwork. So also known as a relieving arches and made up of the rectangular brick that are not cutting into wedge shape, and curvature are obtained by the mortar. So here in this curvature, upper side of the arches mortar required is maximum and inner side mortar required is minimum. So in this figure we exactly seen in a inner side mortar is minimum and in outer side mortar is maximum. So we done as a wedge shape. Clear? Now next is a extra brick arches. So here brick is cut in a wedge shape. So see this in figure, wedge shape is brick is cut in a wedge shape. So here inner part we cut a small portion, and in outer part brick is put as a same or as it is, and the joint of the arc is a uniform thickness because here we cut the brick as a wedge shape and not raised finally, so it is does not give a much attractive appearance. Now next type of the arch is a stone arch. So the rubble arches and ashlar arches. So there are the main two part of the stone arches, rubble and ashlar. So see this figure. So rubble arches made of the rubble stone which are hammered raised or roughly to the shape and size of the washers of arch and fixed in a cement mortar. So these are the use for a small span up to the 1 meter, and see this figure. So here arches is completely made by the stone, and the stone is properly hammered dressed, and then after properly finished. Now next type of the arches is a ashlar arch. So the stone are cut to in a proper shape, and washers are fully dressed up. Now next type of the stone are ashlar arches. So the stone are cut to the proper shape, and shape of the washers, and are fully dressed, properly joined with a cement lime, or only cement sand, or a lime sand. So these washers are made of the full thickness of the arch. So see this figure. In this figure, ashlar arch is provided, and the stone is cutting as a wedge shape, and here all the joints are a same thickness, and here material is provided like cement or a lime as a binding material. Now next, another type of the arch is a flat arch. So here flat arch act like a lintel when it is provided over the opening area. So the joints radiated to the center. So see this figure, all the joints are radiated at a sum of the angle, and use only for the light load, and also used for the small span up to the 1.5 meter. So this type of the arch is not provided for the larger span, not a more than 1.5 meter. Now next type of the arc is a semicircular arc. So the shape of the curvature given to the arch soffit is a semicircular, and semicircular arc is generally used for the larger area or a larger span. So the center of the arch line of the spring line is uh, maximum. Now next is the construction of the arc. So here construction of the arc is done in a three part. So first step, or three step. So first step is a formwork. Second step is a laying of the stone block or a brick of the arc, and third one is a removal of the formwork. So here formwork, we discuss on a first step is a formwork. So installation of the formwork is a temporary structure, and formwork is support to the material used for the arc, and after the gaining the required and a sufficient strength, formwork is removed. And the center of the centering or a formwork is made of the steel or timber, and timber centering is simple and cheap, and probably used for the moderated span. Next is it can be reused for the many times because it is simple and easy to install and dismantle. Now second step is the laying of the stone or block or a brick of the arc. So laying of the stone or stone blocks or a brick are done after the proper preparation and arrangement of the centering or a formwork. So starting from the skew backs and up to crown, the washers are arranged in a required form along with a mortar, and the at the last, keystone or a creep brick are properly placed at the center. Now in case of the washers in their beds, the turning piece is easily by slacking the wedges in such a way that the turning piece is lowered by a small elevation up to 3 to 4 mm. Now third step of the construction of the arc is a removal of formwork. So after getting the required and sufficient strength to the arc, the next process is the removal of the centering or a formwork. So it is very risky to obtain a part, hence remove of the centering is carried very careful. The removal of a centering is carried by loosening of the wedges for a short span. For a span more than 7 meter, removal of the centering is done by the sandbox method. So for a losing, so that shocks can be prevented. So these are the main three steps for the construction of the arches. So here point of the lintel arch is finished. Thank you.